Beginning in 2026, Amazon has a gigantic plan to take over the theaters in just enough time for a lot of theaters to start closing. Okay, they want to release something like 12, 13, 14 movies a year at cinemas, which is very interesting, but it opens up a lot of avenues for a bunch of underappreciated actors. Case in point, Henry Cavill is about to become a centerpiece for Amazon, and they're giving him quite a few opportunities to knock it out the park because, as we've seen recently, such is the flavor of Hollywood in regards to sequels, requels, remakes, and reboots, and well, he's been attached to quite a few. One that, I don't know, either slipped through the cracks rather, or just something that I don't really care that much about, mostly because, well, it was a little bit before my time in regards to, childhood. Being born in 1990, I was very much a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers guy, and also a Transformers kid as well, so Voltron ended up, it was just a little bit before my time. It's kind of like G.I. Joe, kids of the 80s. You kind of grew up with that stuff, Masters of the Universe, He-Man, and all that shit, but nothing against it, okay? Kind of like some of the stuff that I've seen before, but Voltron never really hit like that. But if it's going to be coming to the big screen, and it's going to have Amazon money behind it, and it's going to have Henry Cavill in the lead, I mean, I'm a little bit amenable to this project. Okay, so Henry Cavill's live-action Voltron movie gets release update. That's sure to disappoint fans. Oh no. Is he going to get jerked around with this? Oh my god, it's so funny, right? Because we heard confirmation that, yep, we're going to be moving ahead. Henry Cavill, Games Workshop, and Amazon are going to be moving ahead on the Warhammer 40k universe with a show, movie, something. I don't know, but haven't really heard anything as a follow-up in the subsequent 6 months since that announcement was made. But former Man of Steel and Witcher, Henry Cavill has several major projects in the works for Amazon. One such project is a live-action Voltron movie, which, despite being something of a major blockbuster potential, could suffer a somewhat unceremonious streaming fate. No release date has been revealed for Voltron adaptation, but the movie has amassed a star-studded cast. For director Rawson Marshall, I'm sorry, that's not his full name. He's got 3 names because I guess he's a modern director. Rawson Marshall Thurber's, science fiction outing. Despite all this, a new report via Game Rant claims that Amazon is not planning to release Voltron in theaters and will instead give the movie a straight-to-streaming release, much like Jake Gyllenhaal and Doug Liman's Roadhouse remake last year, which probably would have made some money at the theaters, but also ended up befalling the fate. I think there was, like a 1-week cinematic release, and it might have been Amazon as well, but the Henry Cavill, Alan Ritchson, I forget who else was in that, the Sean Connery, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I'm getting my James Bond and James Bond fan casting mixed up, but History of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I think that's the name of the movie that was out there that was ostensibly a streaming movie that had very limited release. It was a fine movie that probably would have done all right at theaters. It's just, it wasn't given an opportunity. The Inside claims that with filming having wrapped last month, Amazon is now looking to release Voltron straight to their Prime Video streaming service and thus go back to previous commitment to theatrical exhibition. Oh, there's sure to disappointing news for those who had hoped to watch Voltron battle evil on the big screen, with the studio no doubt hoping for another streaming success, much like Roadhouse before it, which became the most watched Prime Video movie ever released. And here's the thing, man. Like, Amazon claims to have, I forget their count at last go, but over 100 million subscribers, mostly because, everybody who signs up for Amazon Prime, you get an Amazon Video account, or Prime Video account alongside of it. But when they release the likes of, Reacher, they end up dominating the streaming charts. When they throw around money for Jennifer Salke, who has been ousted, thankfully, they throw around money for her projects like The Wheel of Time and stupid Rings of Power. They're excessively good at wasting hundreds and, in the case of Rings of Power, billions of dollars of money. But you can't let Henry Cavill into the theaters with Voltron? Like, come on, man, nostalgia shit, regardless of quality, absolutely rakes at the theaters. Why don't you think Voltron is worthy of that? But yes, Henry Cavill has several major Amazon projects in the works over at Amazon. Voltron movie is expected to follow a similar plot to the animated series. It's fine. It's going to be giant robots. We get it. The live-action adaptation brings together an all-star cast, including Cavill, Daniel Quintoy, Sterling K. Brown, Rita Ora, Alba Baptista, Samson Kao, John Kim, Thraneth I thought you said star-studded. I don't know. I've heard the name Sterling K. Brown before, but everybody else is. I'll take your word for it. Live-action adaptation has been in the works as far back as 2005, and going back several delays and setbacks. Dodgeball, what? And Red Notice director Rawson Marshall Thurber. Interesting. Like, Red Notice was a hit over at Netflix, even though nobody watched it at all whatsoever. But Dodgeball, it's interesting because we've had other comedy directors switch genre and see massive success. I mean, you had Todd Phillips, of Hangover fame, go out there and make the first Joker movie. It's interesting for that film making over $1 billion. You thought that they would have made a sequel. Oh well. But yeah, maybe this will be good. Maybe he'll be another one of those guys to break the curse. But don't really know that much of his later day output. Like, Dodgeball is absolutely hilarious. But Red Notice. Okay then. Yeah, as they also point out, Cavill, has the Warhammer 40k series, but also something that has been talked about, God, just about for as long as this 40k series, is, of course, the Highlander reboot, which, I don't know, man. This is, it's interesting, right? There's a lot of those films that came out in the late 70s, early 80s that, of course, are beloved, but if they're adapted properly, could end up being better than the source material that they're adapting. Because here's the thing, man, like Logan's Run, okay, everybody's heard the name, but if you've watched that, oh boy, it's not a very good movie. It's a very interesting concept about how, regardless of your health or your ability, once you hit a certain age, you just get yeeted out of society. Like, if they want to go and run back that concept again, I don't think anybody would necessarily be against it, especially if it has a good cast. I mean, I like The Island, Michael Bay film, Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson. I really like that movie. But if somebody wanted to take that concept and spin it out and do something better with it, like, there's a lot of good source material there that could be fleshed out by somebody a little bit more competent at the deeper aspects of cloning ethics and what it means to be human than, a very competent action director like Michael Bay. But I digress. And Highlander, I mean, Christopher Lambert, we all like him. I like him as Raiden in Mortal Kombat, but yeah, you could have had a better titular character. And I mean, you're never going to get casting again like Sean Connery is a swarthy master. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But putting Henry Cavill in the role, I mean, you got enough goodwill for something that should otherwise not work. But this is interesting. This is interesting stuff, because this was a project that wasn't originally tabbed to be at Amazon. Check this out. Henry Cavill's Highlander reboot gets a major release update from the director. Long gestating plans for the forthcoming Highlander reboot, starring Henry Cavill, has taken another major step forward based on the cult classic's 1986 fantasy adventure that would spawn a long-running franchise. Yeah, but there's only like one Highlander movie, and the rest of those are just, well, it's kind of like how there's one Mortal Kombat movie because Annihilation definitely didn't happen. Holy Christ. Plans for a fresh reboot of the property has been in motion since 2008. The new Highlander movie is set to be helmed by John Wick director Chad Stahelski. Sure. Recent reports have suggested that Amazon MGM Studios United Artists has looked to purchase the full franchise rights from Lionsgate, which could potentially also lead to a spin-off television series. Great. Speaking with Collider, Stahelski, sure, revealed that the viewers might finally expect to see new Highlander movie arrive in theaters. Now, he suggested the plans are currently in motion to see the next 24 hours determine whether filming begins in September of this year. If approved, the director said it will is likely that Cavill's reboot movie will arrive sometime either in 27 or 28. Holy fuck, meaning that it has been in production or has been bantied about since 2008. The original coming out in a quicker time. In a more truncated gap between how long they've been planning this reboot. That is so wild. Yeah, what do the comments mean for the new Highlander reboot? Well, I think it's interesting, right? Because I kind of glossed over this, but MGM Studios buying up the franchise rights from Lionsgate. I mean, Lionsgate, they have a very interesting distribution policy. They aren't like other studios. They normally just send the rights out there for other people to distribute the film, give them a cut to the back end, and normally that's how they can keep a lot of their costs lower because they do things a little bit differently. They're still very much a mid-budget house, and normally, and I mean especially in the early 2000s, whenever you see Lionsgate logo up front, you knew that you were going to be in for a film of dubious quality. But this is old school bad movies, okay? It's not because it had like a certain ideological message. It was just they were kind of schlocky films. So yeah, I had a general displeasure whenever I would see Lionsgate pop up on something that I was somewhat interested in. But now, much of the same could be said for Amazon. Whenever I hear that they're going to be doing a project, it's like, oh boy, great. Is this going to be Reacher or Terminal List, or is this going to be Rings of Power or G20? Like, what are we dealing with here, ladies and gentlemen? But how did Amazon? Now, I understand that, yeah, they have a good working relationship, at least right now. We haven't really seen anything bore out of this in regards to them working with Henry Cavill, but why would they allow this to happen? Well, according to a Rap article, okay, the Rap, not somebody rapping an article, it's all paywalled, so we'll just go ahead and take the snippets out of it. But Chad Stahelski's Highlander movie moved from Lionsgate to Amazon because Lionsgate was worried about the budget. Yes, of course, we know that they're a notoriously cheap company, and narrow appeal and Henry Cavill's box office track record. Fuck, we gotta discuss, and we gotta talk about the quiet part out loud. I mean, like, yeah, he's perfect casting for Superman, but I know that Man of Steel and BVS, they were high watermarks for the Snyderverse, but none of them broke $1 billion. And we're dealing with Superman and Batman, two of the most recognizable, if not the two most recognizable superheroes in history. Yeah, you can say you were working with Snyder. Yeah, you had to read lines that were written in crayon. I understand that there are the excuses that are out there, but you also take a look at the rest of the stuff that, you know, Henry Cavill has been in. I love the guy, and I want him to succeed more than life itself. I want him to be the next James Bond. I want him to finally get an honest chance that's out there. But every time that he's given an opportunity, it's been in really shit films. Like, he was in Argyle. You guys remember that shit from the beginning of last year? Catastrophic failure. $200 million failure. All of the marketing was all around him. And still, the opening weekend was absolute trash. Even before it was exposed as being a rug pull, his name didn't really have that much cachet. And yeah, the fact that I can't even remember that stupid boat warfare movie kind of lets you know that our guy's not exactly that popular at the box office. He's a tremendous individual, and I will sing his praises until somebody else worthy of such accolades comes along. But I think he's a tremendous talent who's been saddled with bad scripts, and because of that, could end up being poisoned, and there could end up being something behind this outside of just simple studio financials. Amazon is going to expect a return on both the Warhammer projects and whatever else they do for his studios. Highlander is definitely going to be a test. So is Voltron. And maybe that's why they're seeing if he can pop a rating on Prime before they put him in the theaters. Don't know for sure, man. I still want him as Bond, but if this is the reality of the discussions being had behind the scenes, yeah, I think we're closer to gay black Bond than we are to the most surefire casting in Hollywood history. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.